And we're back with the WHHI Daily News with Stephen Combs. He is the PIO, which stands for Public Information Officer for the Bluffton Fire Department. Good to have you with us.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Now you're here for a very important reason, because this coming weekend, I didn't realize is going to be very, very hot.
Right.
The heat, we're talking 105, 107. So you're here to talk about how we need to be prepared.
Sure.
Right?
And just so that we can clarify, that 105, 107 is the heat index. So that's the combination of the ambient air and the humidity. So how that temperature feels to us, it's going to be between 105 and 107 according to the Weather Service.
So we can, it's very dangerous.
Very much so.
And particularly with fireworks and people are out and about and the holiday, they might not be doing what they should be doing to hydrate and stay safe. So give us some tips.
Sure, and you know, heat-related illness is one of the leading causes of death in the United States.
Really?
Hundreds of fatalities occur each year as a result of heat-related illnesses. And so we want to just get that message out to make sure, first of all, that you're well hydrated.
Yes.
A lot of times calls, in fact, when I was coming in this afternoon, calls coming in for individual who was experiencing some heat exhaustion.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So recognizing some of those signs and symptoms, making sure that you're taking the appropriate action, staying cool, wearing the right light-colored clothing.
And so what are some of the signs and symptoms of a heat-related illness?
Sure. So when you think about some of the heat exhaustion, that's kind of that first stage. You might experience some initial cramping. You might experience some dizziness, lightheadedness, and just feel that kind of general malaise.
Right.
You really want to, at that point, make sure that you get that individual, if it's yourself or somebody that you're with, get them into a cool place.
Okay.
Help them to sip some cool water.
Okay. And then the more serious is a heat stroke.
Correct. And heat stroke, if it's not taken care of pretty rapidly, it could lead to death. So that could be such things as nausea and vomiting, confusion. So those are some pretty serious situations. Right. If you're out in the environment, if you're outdoors over the weekend and you see somebody who's experiencing that, or you begin to feel those kinds of conditions, immediately get to an indoor air conditioning area and begin to cool that process down. And
so drinking water and avoiding alcohol is important, but definitely be drinking constant. You know, here's a lot of times you're not really thirsty.
No.
But you need to be always drinking water.
Right. And you know, some gauges that, you know, you can tell your skin, how responsive it is if you pinch it, whether it relaxes or if it stays lifted. So those are just some easy indicators. But you know, a lot of times people think that they're drinking enough water because they don't feel thirsty.
Right.
But hydration begins really the night before you go out. So make sure you're drinking plenty of water if you're going to be outdoors.
Excellent. And we had about a minute and a half, Stephen, pet safety.
Yes.
Our cats and dogs and...
Yeah, so one of the things people don't think about, they take their dogs out for a walk, and that hot asphalt, if it's hot for your feet and you have to wear shoes, think about how that might affect the dog's paws. So that's very dangerous. Never leave an animal, child, or vulnerable individual in a hot, locked car. Because the temperatures rise. Dogs can actually die of heat stroke just like humans can. Okay.
And so for everyone, any other tips? Stay air conditioned. Don't strenuous exercise outside. Avoid no running for 10 miles or whatever. Right.
Right. Absolutely. And check on your neighbors.
Oh, okay.
You know, neighbors helping neighbors. Always check in. If you've got a vulnerable adult, an older adult that's living near you, just check on them. Knock on the door and say, "Hey, I just want to make sure you're okay."
Right, very good. Any other final tips for us as we conclude?
The other thing, just, stay cool. Make sure if you're going out in the sun, put sunscreen on at least every 2 hours.
Right.
Wear that light clothing, and be safe.
Okay, very good. Good information. Stephen Combs with the Bluffton. And it's Township Fire District is the official term. Right?
It is, but that's okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And thank you all so much for watching this edition of the WHHI Daily News. Stay safe, stay healthy, hydrate. And we'll be back in 90 minutes because we're on every 90 minutes. Thank you, everyone, for watching.